Hi everyone, bonjour tout le monde. So today I'm finally going to do my why I'm vegan video, and I know it's only been like 2 or 3 months and it took a lot longer than I expected, but today I have the time and so I am finally going to do it. So essentially I became vegetarian when I was 11 for animal cruelty reasons. And I was pretty strictly vegetarian, and then eventually I became pescatarian. I'm not sure for how long I was pescatarian during that time, but I would eat fish occasionally, and that continued for a few years. By the time I was 14, I stopped, and because I thought that I was kind of convinced that like I needed meat because I just wasn't really eating well. And but I didn't really notice that many positive effects of eating meat, and I just needed to learn to eat more vegetables and to eat the right foods as a vegetarian, but I didn't realize that as a 14-year-old. So, but within a few years, I began realizing that, and I became vegetarian again within, I think it was only a year or two later that I was back to being vegetarian, and I developed this very deep food fascination. I think the catapult for that was watching Food Inc. I saw it in theaters, and I was like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna question everything. And that kind of drove me then to veganism, because I realized, dairy was not doing me any good, and I felt a lot better when I didn't have it. And so I was developing a lot of vegan tendencies, and just a lot of interest in like, why are we eating the foods we're eating in this country, and why are people eating so much meat, dairy, and eggs when it's not helping us and it's really only hurting us. So that kind of, my fascination with veganism continued for a few years until I think I was about 19 when I decided I would go completely vegan. Now, I had a lot of mistakes when I first went vegan. I definitely wasn't strict, and I was kind of going back and forth for a bit, and I studied abroad in Paris and decided while I was there I would only be vegetarian. So it wasn't until I was about 22 that I really got strict with the veganism, and now I'm 24 going on 25, so it's been about 3 years that I've been like strictly vegan, and I just feel better that way. I'm not just living off of white bread, like I'm eating a large variety of food, and if anything I feel like I appreciate my food more as a vegan than I would if I weren't, because I've discovered a lot of foods this way. I can't just go to McDonald's and get a burger. I mean, not that I ever would have, but I have to really think about what I'm eating, and that's been really beneficial for my health. With the like laughs in my veganism, I kind of needed some motivation, I suppose, and sometimes it's easy to forget why you're vegan. So once I saw Earthlings, which I guess I was like 21 or 22 when I did that, that was kind of like, oh my god, like I can never go back. This is the real deal. If you're eating meat or eggs, you are directly funding animal cruelty. And then I think it was about a year later that I saw Cowspiracy. Now, watching Cowspiracy, that's when I really opened my eyes to the environmental impact our food is having on the environment. And that's when that really solidified my veganism for me, and that's, I've been very strict since. So in terms of the environment, I even more recently have become more aware of the environmental impact of our food choices and of our consumer choices. And kind of with my spiritual journey and kind of like finding myself and finding my inner happiness, I've learned that like searching for like happiness in exterior things is only hurting us, and supporting industries that directly fund cruelty again is hurting us. And we don't, even if you don't think about it, if you're buying clothes from sweatshop labor, it's got to hurt you in some way, because you got to know that what you're doing is kind of messed up. So I've really become more aware of that, just outside of my food choices as well, and like everything I consume. I'm only going to be buying clothes from the thrift store. I don't plan on really purchasing anything I don't need, because really, if you decide this, or if you fund this consumer system, you're really going to fund like cheap labor and really the destruction of other countries' economies, and I'm just not okay with that. So, all of that kind of ties into my spiritual journey as well, finding my own internal happiness and realizing that these external things are only hurting me, and really they're hurting like everyone else. So, I guess that's all I have to say about veganism. I feel great as a vegan. I eat well. I try to buy local whenever possible. I try, to be really conscious of my food choices, and I'm still learning. Like, it's pretty much impossible to be perfect, but you really, the more you learn, the more you need to learn, and so that's kind of where I'm at. Is it's just a journey of being the best person I can be in all of my choices. So, and veganism is a huge part of that. But you know, there are of course vegan foods you can buy that are not very ethical. So these are things that I have to bear in mind as a vegan, that veganism isn't enough. You have to look at everything, and that's really what I'm trying to do. So I'm happy I'm vegan, and I'm happy that I'm learning more, and I'm happy that I'm becoming the most conscious consumer I possibly can be. And I wish there was a way I could step out of this consumer-based system, but I'm not there yet. We're not there yet. So I'm just doing the best I can to be the best person I can possibly be, and have a positive influence on the world and on the people around me. So anyway, I know that's kind of a bit of a tangent. I kind of went off a bit, but that's kind of, in brief, my whole vegan thing, and a little bit about my own personal beliefs and what I'm trying to do as a person. So that's all. So I'm not sure what my next video will be about, but I'm not going to try to make it much sooner than this one. And I'm actually going to Costa Rica in a month, so I will be posting about that. And so subscribe if you want to watch more. And thank you for watching.